Put your hands together for your Strike Force San Diego.
That's it. They're going to watch us. That's why.
Ladies and gentlemen,
where's the flag?
I'd like to ask that you please rise and remove your hats for the singing of our national anthem this evening by April Page.
Right there. I met April just a minute ago.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red alert, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave. Thank you.
Thank you, April Page.
Well, we welcome you to Pechanga Arena. Ted Mendenhall with the coach John Quintero. This Week 9 matchup. Arizona Rattlers coming to town against the San Diego Strike Force. And Coach, we'll start with the Strike Force coming off their first victory against Cedar Rapids.
Oh, they played really well, and not only did they play well on offense, they did a great job of running the football, but their quarterback, Shahab Vircher, got his first start in the Indoor Football League after a mop-up role a couple of weeks ago over in Arizona. I thought he played a great game. Teddy, more than anything else, he protected the football. No
come in and
turnovers.
shake hands and introduce yourselves.
And he's going to get a chance to start again here today. They got a taste of the Rattlers in a 91-58 loss the first weekend in April. The best team right now in the IFL.
Well, I think so, especially with Iowa getting beat this weekend. I don't think there's any question Arizona's the best team.
What's
Kevin
your
Geiger,
call going
head
to be?
coach, really
Tails.
put
As
together
previously
a fine
stated,
football
Ms.
team,
Mariel
and they got a
LaRue,
really good quarterback
the
in
San
Jeff
Diego
Ziemba,
2019
who we'll
will be
see
costing
in a
going
lot
to
of
team.
different situations tonight in this ball game.
Well, that sets the stage. We got IFL football coming up for you next.
It is. Tails it is. You're going to defer to the second half. You're going to take the ball. Which way are you going to kick? Switch sides, guys. Arizona
Coach,
won the
let's do
toss.
this.
They elected to defer to the second half. San Diego will receive at this end. Gentlemen, shake their hands. Good luck tonight.
Well, the San Diego Strike Force will receive to start this game, going right to left. Jimmy Camacho has it teed up, and we are underway. Marquez Rogers takes it at his own 1 yard line, straight ahead across the 15, and then decked at about the 17 yard line. Tackle made there by Jared Harrington.
Ted, I think it's really imperative tonight for the Strike Force to be able to run the football, shorten the game. Last week, George Moreira really did a nice job. The offensive line had, I thought, a whale of a ball game against Cedar Rapids. And again, Vercher not only threw it well, the few times that he pulled the ball down, he was an outstanding runner. So let's see what their game plan is, but I think they've got to shorten the game. They gave up 91 points a couple of weeks ago over in Arizona.
Jod Vercher, 114 yards passing a week ago, and he is on the keeper across to about the 18-yard line. Got a couple of yards on the play and a gang tackle there by the Rattlers. Nicholas Diavanzo with the first hit.
You know, I think Vercher along with Moreira, I think early in their indoor football league careers, they were trying to run around guys. What you've got to do, you just got to get some positive yards. Even if it's only a 2 or 3 yard gain, you got to go forward. You can't try to juke and make that big run. Get what you can and then get ready for the next down.
So Vercher now, after a couple of yards, will have a second down. Fakes it, now spins out of one tackle, but he is going to be dragged down. Lance McDowdell with the initial hit, and then coming in, Ricky Wyatt Jr., who already has 2 tackles on the first 2 plays.
Well, Ricky Wyatt Jr., Teddy, this is one special football player in the indoor football league. He's up there with the best, no question about it. He comes in with 41 tackles tonight, 3.5 sacks out of Central Arkansas.
Loss of a yard on the play. It'll be third down. Remember, no punting in the IFL. They'll see if they can get at least half of that yardage to try and move the chains. Vercher, good protection this time, steps up, fakes the shovel pass, and then his forward momentum stopped right about the 20-yard line.
Yeah, good decision that time by Jaha. He could have tried to force that ball, but he knew you can't give Arizona good field position. Let's see what they're able to get done here on 4th down. But Vercher, I've been very impressed. For as little as he has played this year, he has made outstanding decisions. And when in doubt, live for the next play, and that's what they're going to do on this 4th down play right now.
He's got about 6 yards on the line to gain, or you could try throwing it deep just to try and get better field position. Vercher with the quick throw. And Marquez Rogers initially was stopped, but he's going to get the first down and keep this drive alive, and flags thrown at the end.
Marquez Rogers, how about that? It looked like he was right at the first down marker, and then he came back to get the football, got driven back, but then was able to keep his balance and turn the corner and get that first down, and he got banged into the wall.
Number 92, the defense, personal foul. Late hit.
And they're going to get some more added on to that. Chris Wiggins, our head official, calling the personal foul late hit against Nicholas Diavanzo.
You know, the one thing I've noticed doing these games, Marquez Rogers, especially in 3rd or 4th down when they're looking for a first down, he's a good comfort blanket. First for Derek Bernard, who's now the backup, and now Jaha Vercher. He knows where to go and just sit and not keep running into the defender. He finds a little hole and just sits there and allows the quarterback to have a nice shot at him.
That moves the ball down to the Rattlers' 11-yard line. Opening possession of the game. Quick pitch out. Moreira with his first carry gets across the 10.
You know, last week, George really had a heck of a ball game, Teddy. 18 carries, 58 yards, a touchdown, had 1 catch for 5 yards. But on the year, his average is starting to go up at 3.1. They started out the year, the Strike Force, not running the football very well or very consistently, and now they're kind of going to that as a little bit of their bread and butter of the offense and trying to put a little more pressure on the defense and save their defense over on the sidelines.
That play got him a couple yards. Vercher under heavy pressure and just throws it away as he goes down. Let's see if they're going to call him in the grasp here.
They're going to call an incomplete pass.
Boy, that's a huge break for the Strike Force, or Vercher is going to lose about 15 yards. Now they're discussing it.
to me, that should have been intentional grounding. But yeah, they're going to throw it now.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what we're going to call. Here's Chris Wiggins now with the call.
Intentional grounding. Number 4 offense. Penalty is loss of down at the spot of the foul. It will be 3rd down.
So you didn't really do much there because you were going to lose the yardage anyway on the sack, and you lose the down on the penalty as well.
It was the right call by the officials. They didn't make it initially, but after conferring with the sideline official, Chris Wiggins went ahead and threw the hanky down there on the field.
Well, now they are faced with a 3rd down and the ball at midfield. They can actually get a 1st down at the 1-yard line, but of course, if you throw it down there, you might as well get it into the end zone. Checking in for the Strike Force is Victor Dean Jr., a 6'6" wideout on the right side. Looking that way, and he's going to throw wide. Caught at the 5-yard line, and into the end zone for a touchdown is Julian Stafford. 25 yards from Vircher, and the Strike Force get on the board first.
You know, I think a lot of people saw when Dean came into the ball game, they thought they'd go with him maybe on a long bomb. Julian Stafford, and a great job. One thing about Julian Stafford, a couple of things. Number one, he's got great hands. He knows what to do once he catches the football. That's his 11th touchdown on the year.
And a challenge flag now being thrown by the Arizona Rattlers.
I think they're going to challenge that he was actually up against the boards, but the official on that side was right there.
Arizona is
so
challenging that the runner was down by contact at the wall.
So now they're going to take a look at the iPad here. They'll come over and take a quick look at it. The official was right there on the call.
The official was right there, and good on Julian Stafford. You just keep playing until the whistle is blown. But that was a heck of a play, and I think you're right, too, when they brought in the big 6'6" Victor Dean Jr., and Jihad was looking that way. I think the defense started looking that way as well.
Well, I think they thought at 6'6", they're going to run him down and just throw the old alley-oop, but he ran just a quick short pattern, and Julian Stafford ran a little crossing route, caught the ball, got hit, but was able to turn it upfield, and I'm anxious to see. I think it's going to stand as a touchdown.
Boy, that would be a nice way to start this one against the Arizona Rattlers, who come in. They average nearly 67 points per game. To put that in perspective, the Strike Force about 45 points per game.
You know, the Strike Force offense has not been the problem. The turnovers when Derek Bernard was in there, he had thrown 20 touchdowns, but had also thrown 12 interceptions. He was the leading passer in the league when Coach Bert Grossman decided to go with Jahad Vircher in a mop-up role against Arizona. That's how he got the start last week against Cedar Rapids, and he performed great, so he drew the start tonight.
Coach, I got to think the length of this review does not bode well for the Strike Force.
Now we'll see. They're breaking it down. They got 3 officials down there looking at it.
Had a chance just before the game. There was a young man over in the corner of the end zone. I asked him, what does he like about indoor football? He said, well, I'm little, but I'm fast. He goes, this is the perfect kind of field to play on. He wants to eventually grow up and play indoor football.
I got to tell you, I've enjoyed being out here. It's a great atmosphere. The franchise just kind of, getting their sea legs right now. Every game they've gotten a little bit better on the field. More and more people in San Diego are finding out about the Strike Force, and hopefully they'll continue to build their crowds. They still got some remaining home games this year. This replay is taking far too long, Teddy. Far too long. Here we go.
Here we go. Here comes the verdict from Chris Wiggins.
After review, the runner was contacted into the wall at the 9-yard line. The ball will be placed at the 9-yard line. It will be 4th down and 8 from the 9-yard line.
Yep, there you go.
Game clock operator, please reset.
They call him
the
down
game
by
clock
contact,
to 1
and
minute
it is going to be a
18
4th down now for the Strike Force. Now what do? Do you kick it with the reigning special teams player of the week,
Yeah, you got to go for it.
or do you go for it here?
I mean, a field goal ain't going to help you in this game against these guys. These guys put too many points on the board. You need touchdowns.
And that's exactly what they're doing. The offense stays out there. Victor Dean Jr. stays out on the field.
Now we may see the old alley-oop.
Be a good spot for it. I don't see anybody equaling that height on the defensive side. He lines up in the backfield momentarily and gets some last-minute instruction from Vircher.
One-on-one coverage on the outside there. Good matchup.
Rogers and Stafford on the left, and he fumbled the snap. And the Rattlers are going to take over on downs at the 14-yard line. But even more importantly, Vircher looks like he's shaken up.
Well, we'll never know if they were going to throw that alley-oop to Victor Dean. He had a smaller player definitely on him in a one-on-one situation, but Vircher unable to hang on to the football, and he's going to the bench right now, kind of holding that right knee.
Ruling on the field. The ball was fumbled by the offense, recovered by the defense. First down, Arizona.
Yeah, that's not good. On the opening possession, not only did he not get the touchdown, but then he gets injured on the play. It looks like he got caught looking upfield, and then he just got decked by one of the defensive linemen, Lance McDowdell, who is a big old boy at 6'4", 325.
Well, let's see what Arizona brings to the table tonight.
Jeff Ziemba is their quarterback. They'll be going left to right on the opening possession. They're going to run it down to the 20 to the 21-yard line. That is Roland Genesee.
Well, Ziemba coming into the ballgame tonight, Ted. He's completing 69.1% of his passes, 589 yards, 13 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. Last year, he was the Indoor Football League's Rookie of the Year. This is his second year with the Arizona Rattlers.
Took them all the way to the conference finals and lost to Sioux Falls in overtime by 1 point. Second down, about 3 yards to go. This time on a play action, plenty of protection, throws to the right side, and it's broken up. Nice job by Omar Cook breaking up that pass. Coach, he never turned around for the football, but he got in the path of the pass.
Well, one thing I've noticed since Derek Dolan took over as the defensive coordinator, I think they've simplified some things on the defensive side of the ball. They're allowing the athleticism of the strike force defenders to just kind of take over. Rather than having to think about what you're doing, they're reacting. And Omar Cook, coming in here a few weeks back, has really played some great football.
Now it's third down. Ziemba throws deep to the right side, and it is caught for the touchdown. And the Rattlers are on the board first. That was a heck of a pass by Ziemba, right on target to Sheldon Augustine, a 5'10", 180-pound wide receiver.
Well, Teddy, that was just a go route. And more than anything else, the toughest part about this was hanging on, but Augustine making a great catch, and even when he hit the deck, was able to hang on to the football.
Jimmy
Boy, that
Camacho.
kills you after you think you scored, all of a sudden you give one up at the other end.
Jimmy Camacho adds the extra point, and it is 7-0 Rattlers, 7:50 to go in the first quarter. Yeah, what a change of events. And now we're going to wait and see who comes out at quarterback for the Strike Force after Vircher was shaken up on that fourth down play. And we talked about it in the pregame. A lot of the reason why Vircher is in there is because he does take care of the football.
No question about it. And Paul Savage, one of the best trainers around, taking a look at him. Let's see if he comes out after this kickoff. Boy, Ziemba sure zipped that ball down the field, didn't he?
That was a beautiful pass. It's just on a rope right to the spot. And the catch made by Sheldon Augustine. For Augustine, that's his third touchdown catch. He's got a long this year of 50 yards.
Well, you know what's interesting? That's his fourth catch of the year, but his third for a touchdown.
So he's like the Chris Carter of the IFL. All he does is catch touchdowns. So Marquez Rogers is back deep for the Strike Force now, down 7-0. Camacho puts it in the air. Boy, that's a high kick. Rogers takes it about 5 yards deep. Across the 10 to the 15, cuts inside at the 20. He's across midfield and stopped at about the 18-yard line of Arizona.
Now, we were talking earlier about, George Ferreira and Vircher, when they run the football on offense, get up the field. Marquez Rogers doing a great job of getting up the field on that kickoff return. I mean, he just goes full throttle right from the get-go.
Vircher is back in at QB. Good to see that. They'll take over at the 17-yard line of Arizona.
One thing I've been so impressed with the wide receiving core of the Strike Force, they've got some really talented guys.
Vercher goes up under center for this one, hands off to Rogers. Nice cut inside to the 10-yard line. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Those quick moves upfield, you can't dance around.
Well, a little speed sweep there. He would have continued to go outside, but they had nice containment. He was able to turn it back inside and get up the field. That'll bring up a second down. This is a really nice early drive here for the Strike Force. It's nice that they could tie this thing up right away.
Got about 5 yards on that. They mark it at the 11. Now Rogers again around left end. Not much there. Maybe a yard.
In a lot of the early games for the Strike Force, Teddy, they would be in the game. By halftime, they're in the game, maybe down a touchdown. But far too many times this year, they've had to play catch-up right from the get-go. And by the middle of the third quarter, definitely in the fourth, they're pretty much, their defense is worn down. So they need to keep the football and try to wear down the opposing defense tonight.
On third down, Vercher wants to throw this time, knocked away. A good defensive play that time by Dylan Winfrey, knocking it away from the intended receiver, Marquez Rogers. And that'll bring up a fourth down.
Well, they had a little bit of a blitz, that situation. They brought their linebacker, Wyatt Jr., and kind of a delay, and it came right in the face of Vercher when he was delivering that football.
Got a couple guys with those long locks hanging out the back of the helmet. Wyatt Jr. is one of them. Here we go, fourth down from the 10. Vercher, quick throw over the middle. That's enough for the first down to Rogers. And second effort gets all the way down inside the 2.
Second time we've seen that route by Rogers. Both times he's been able to convert it into a first down. Just goes down there, reads his defender, turns, kind of posts up in basketball, blocks that defender out, and Vercher hits him with a nice pass.
First and goal, Strike Force trying to get those 7 points back. Vercher will go up under center this time. Morera in the backfield. And he will get it right up the middle, puts his head down, and he is stuffed. Good defense. That was Devontae Merriweather making a hit after he was wrapped up by the 325-pound McDowdell.
Every second that comes off that clock tonight is a plus for the Strike Force. They don't want to get into a shootout with the Arizona Rattlers.
Yeah, that's a great point. You got some time to play with here now, second down and goal. And it'll be Morera on the right side this time. Did he get in? No. McDowdell stopping him just shy of the goal line. It's going to be third down, and they're inside the 1. I think another one of those, Coach, and even McDowdell won't be able to stop him.
I'll be interested to see what the Strike Force want to do here. They want to bring Vercher up underneath center and just quarterback sneak, or they want him to go in the shotgun. They're going to go underneath center.
On third and goal, he's going to try and sneak it, and he's going to take a loss. Boy, they were ready for that, the Rattlers were.
A great job by the defensive line of the Rattlers, just getting underneath the pad level of that offensive line. And Vercher, he went backwards. He didn't gain an inch.
He actually, luckily, gets forward momentum to about the line of scrimmage, which I think is a generous spot.
I would agree with you on that. Great job by the Rattlers defensive line, though.
Fourth down. And the toss and into the end zone is Marquez Rogers. This was a Marquez Rogers drive. He had the kick return and he had all the yardage on offense.
Boy, that was a well-designed play. They had a lot of things going on that play, and then a quick pitch from Vercher to Rogers, and he was able to knife into the end zone.
Extra point away from tying this up.
Take a look at this right here, Teddy. Watch this. Watch him knife into the end zone right there. Boy, that's a big play. You can't have 2 series where you don't put points on the board against the Rattlers and expect to win.
Lacayo, we mentioned the reigning special teams player of the week, had a 51-yard field goal last week against Cedar Rapids, and his extra point is blocked. So the Rattlers will hang on to the lead 7-6 with 2:35 to go.
The score is Arizona 7, San Diego
It's been
6.
that penetration up the middle.
Yeah, that defensive line right now of Arizona definitely winning the battle in the trenches. And right there, they get a blocked extra point. Boy, every point in indoor football is so crucial.
Yep, we saw that last week against Cedar Rapids when they missed a field goal. And then the strike force got a stop and then hit a bomb right at the end of the half to have a 2-score lead. And it's a good thing they had that because they didn't score a touchdown in the second half.
Well, and again, the strike force, even though they get their extra point blocked, they kept the ball for a long period of time. They've had it predominantly most of this first quarter, but the Rattlers, the one possession they did have, they stuck it in the end zone.
Jared Harrington is the return man for Arizona. Harrington averages about 20 yards a return, one of the tops in the IFL. And we saw Camacho kick one high. Wonder if Lacayo will stick with the squib here.
I think I'd go with the squib kick. Never know how that ball's going to bounce when you squib it.
Line drive kick, taken in the back of the end zone by Harrington, up the left sideline. He's across the 10, and his momentum is stopped there, and a flag.
Now we got a penalty. Chris Wiggins, the head official, firing that flag from about 20 yards away. Let's see what this is all about.
Might get Chris McAllister, 31, for a block in the back here. Let's get the call from Chris Wiggins.
During the return, illegal block in the back, return team number 24, half the distance to the goal, first down, Arizona.
That's on Roland Genesee, their starting running back. He gets called for a block in the back. Well, the strike force will take that. Backs him up inside the 10-yard line.
You got to have some guts to be a return man in indoor football. Huh?
You got to have some guts, period, in indoor football. You see
Guys
flipping
are flying
into the
over
stands.
the boards into the stands.
Genesee is in the backfield. Ziemba under center. It's Genesee off the right side, and good pursuit there by the strike force, and it's Cook who makes the tackle, Omar Cook.
Good job by defensive back Omar Cook. The former Aztec, Sergio Phillips, number 64, in on that tackle as well. Defensive line's got to come up big tonight. They've got to stop the run, but more importantly, they've got to find a way to get some pressure on Ziemba, not let him sit back there and pat the ball 3 or 4 times and survey the landscape.
Boy, Cook did a great job beating his blocker to make that tackle, too. Just a 2-yard gain. And a flag is called. Movement up front.
This one here could go either way. I thought one of the Arizona linemen may have flinched, and then all of a sudden you saw all 3 strike force defenders move.
That's what makes you think it's on the offense, is because of the reaction in unison up front by all 3 linemen.
A lot of conversation going on early on with these officials tonight.
They're going to wave it off.
Illegal defense,
Okay.
causing the offense to move. Number 91 defense, 5 yards, still second down.
LePepe gets called for illegal
It
defense.
was offsides, number 91.
Oh, there, he corrected
It
it.
was offsides. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what LePepe could have done for an illegal defense when he's a down defensive lineman.
Well, he shifted, and that's what they called. You're not allowed to shift up front?
Got to go man on man, big on big,
That's-
mano y mano.
That's what it was then. On second down now and short. And it's a keeper by Ziemba. And a first down across to the 21-yard line. Now we've got an injured man on the field for the strike force.
That's
Sergio Phillips. Yep.
He's saying he's staying in the ball game. He's going to try to walk it off right now. They're going to send him off here for at least one
Yeah,
play.
Wiggins told him once the trainer came out on the field, you got to come off for a play. He'll be replaced by Shakur Phillip, 6'1", 310 from Widener University. 1st and 10 as the first quarter winds down. Ziemba will go under center. Boy, they really use all the field, don't they? Play action. All kinds of time, throws over the middle, and it's caught. Harrington with the catch down at the 16 and another first down.
Well, that's just a great play by Harrington. I mean, the defender's right on him. Ziemba delivers the ball. Harrington was able to out-muscle the defender for that catch right there. Nice route. Look at that. That's a good play. No question about it. Harrington, a very nice receiver, done a good job so far this year. 21 catches and 5 touchdowns so far.
Phillips right back on the field for the Strike Force. From the 16, toss to Genesee on the left side, and he'll get it down to the 12. Pickup of about 4 yards on first down.
Lonnie Bickham, the third now, Teddy, in at linebacker. Mikkel Mayer, the Strike Force leading tackler, over on the sidelines right now. I don't know if it was anything serious, but hopefully he gets back in the ballgame. He's had a really good year to this point.
Arizona's going to let the clock run down to the final 2 seconds, and that's going to end the first quarter. Hey, if you told the Strike Force it'd be 7-6 at the end of one, they'd take it.
No question about it.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with the start of the second quarter.
Tequila, a premium grade 100% blue agave craft tequila that has been custom created to achieve the best taste, scent, and quality. Careful craftsmanship is taken to preserve the sweet agave taste and scent, allowing you to enjoy the wood barrel taste of the product's aging process. Visit their website at jalapenotequila.com to learn more. That's Jalapeno Tequila. Come on, fans, let's see your dance moves. Get up and shake it. You might see yourself on the big screen. Drum pin. Do your best, stand up. Let's see you guys. That guy can play the drums. Look at that. Oh my goodness. There's drumming right there. Look at that. If you're not drumming right now, then you're not having fun. There you go.
Here we go, start of the second quarter. Jeff Ziemba at quarterback. 7-6 Rattlers, and they're threatening for more. Fakes the toss, now looking to the left side, throws to the back of the end zone, incomplete. Looking for Harrington. Harrington was being double covered. Omar Cook and Tyler Thornton on the coverage.
You know, Teddy, looking at the first quarter stats, the first thing I wanted to look at tonight is what are the two teams offensively doing? The Strike Force, 16 plays in that first quarter for 41 yards. The Arizona Rattlers, only 7 plays, but for 63 yards. But again, you're keeping them off the field.
Yeah, really, that's part of your defensive game plan, is keeping the ball on offense. Third down from the 12. Ziemba has great time again and throws it away in the middle of the end zone. Strikeforce did a nice job flooding the end zone there, thinking that that's where they were going to go.
Well, Strikeforce, I think their secondary's just gotten better and better and better, and I think with a little bit of increased pass rush that we've seen the last couple of weeks, they're coming along nicely. Again, Derek Dolan wasn't their original defensive coordinator. He has indoor experience, and bringing him in, simplifying some things, and bringing in a few other players along the way, this team has definitely gotten better week by week. Only one win so far, but they are getting better.
Chance to get a stop here on fourth down. Ziemba, quick throw to the right side, caught at the 10, and then gang tackled inside the 10-yard line, and they do get the stop. Jamal Miles made the catch, and the Strikeforce will take over at their own 9.
Boy, that's a confidence builder right there, wouldn't you say? Good gang tackling. Good gang tackling right there.
Omar Cook with the initial hit, and then the rest of his friends came over and finished it off.
That's the other area where the defense and the Strikeforce have gotten better. early in the year, they were getting in these one-on-one situations, and they were whiffing a lot of the time. Now they're at least grab and hold until they can get some buddies to come and finish them off, but a good job by Omar Cook.
Well, their last offensive drive resulted in a touchdown. Let's see if they can do it again. This time it would give them the lead. 7-6 Rattlers. Vircher will start off from the shotgun this time. Rogers is wide to the left. Throwing deep over the middle and incomplete. The coverage there by Alan Chapman, and he's going to get called for pass interference, I believe.
That's a tough one because I thought he had pretty good inside position there, and the receiver tried to initiate the contact and then tried to sell the call as well.
Well, it looks like he sold it all right.
Pass
I agree
interference.
with you.
Number 3, defense. It's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Yeah, the strike force get a break there. Chapman had good position, but it's a penalty, and the strike force will take it all the way up to the 24-yard line now, just shy of midfield. Vircher has him set. Quick throw to Rogers, gets it across midfield and into Rattler territory for a second down.
That almost acts as a run right there. Just a short, quick pass, move the chains, keep Arizona's defense on their toes a little bit.
And the play clock just starting now. They can take their time here and use that ball control strategy. High snap, Vircher got it. Now he's going to run with it. He's got lots of daylight. Tripped up down to the 17-yard line. Wyatt Jr. stopped what might have been an even bigger run.
Good job that time by Jaha. Not trying to force anything. Good coverage in the secondary by the Rattlers. And the other thing that I like about Vircher is he keeps his head up. He doesn't look down. He's always looking up to find out if there's an open receiver, but also looking to see if there's a pocket maybe he can run. And he did a great job right there. 3rd and short now for the strike force.
That was a heck of an open field tackle by Ricky Wyatt Jr. Quick throw over the middle this time, caught down inside the 10-yard line by Julian Stafford out of Mississippi Valley State. And that gives them a new set of downs, Coach.
That pretty good receiver once upon a time came out of Mississippi Valley State.
Yeah, named Rice.
Yeah, that's his name. He had a pretty good career.
Not bad. It gives them a 1st and goal at the 10-yard line. You wonder if the first time they played the Rattlers, with the exception of some of the other things you talked about, maybe a little starstruck about a legacy team like them?
Very well could be.
Quick throw to the corner and spilled into the stands. Did he hang on? Yes, he did! It's a touchdown for the strike force. And that is Victor Dean Jr., the 6'6" wideout.
Boy, that was just the old alley-oop. Victor Dean Jr. You and I called some of his high school basketball games at Lincoln High. Watch this. Vircher lays it up. Dean goes up, catches it, and flies over the boards with his defender. The official going over the boards, looking to see if he caught it. He held the ball up. Touchdown, strike force.
I tell you, these guys are nuts. The way they go spilling into the stands like that. Here's Lacayo now for the extra point attempt. Put him up by 6. And a flag. Did they take too much time? Looked like the play clock was at double zeros.
Start. Number 77 offense, 5-yard penalty, still the try.
Shakur Phillip called for the false start, so that'll back him up. Well, that was just an unbelievable catch by Victor Dean Jr. and not bad coverage either by Jabri Lally on defense.
And that's Victor Dean Jr.'s 2nd catch of the year. Played at Fresno State after he attended Lincoln High School.
I don't know if they call it the red zone in the IFL, but he's a pretty good red zone guy. Looks like they're going to go for a 2-point conversion now. Vercher throws across the middle. Rogers takes a hit but stays on his feet and into the end zone for 2 points. That puts him up 14-7.
But it looked like he was going to get stopped right at the goal line. Then he banged into one of his players, and his player was able to kind of give him a little helping hand into the end zone for that 2-point conversion. Watch this again right here. You'll see Rogers running the pattern. Little crossing route, boom, right there. Then he gets a little help from his teammate right there.
And Devontae Merriweather might get a little scolding for not wrapping up on the hit there, just trying to lower the shoulder.
Good job by David Carter to help his teammate get into the end zone for that 2-point try.
Yeah, I'm not sure Rogers knew which way the end zone was after that hit, but he steered him in the right way. 14-7, Strike Force with the lead. Harrington will go back to return the kick. Last time from Lacaille, we saw not the squib, but more of a low line drive that was a good one. It hit in the corner of the end zone.
Nobody would have thought this after the Strike Force got beat 91-58 over in Arizona 2 weeks ago.
This time it is the squib and bounces over the up man to Harrington at the goal line. To the 15-20 across midfield to the 15 of the Strike Force inside the 10-yard line, and his forward momentum is finally stopped there. Oh, about a 40-yard return. He just had really good blocking there in front of him, Coach. Merriweather leading the way.
Yeah, he got a lot of good blocks, and he really scooted up the field rather quickly. The one thing about the return men in the IFL, you don't sit back there and pick and choose. You got to get the ball up the field. We've seen that out of both teams so far tonight.
So the Rattlers, trailing by a score of 14-7, have the ball at the 10. Ziemba with a quick pitch down to the 5-yard line and stopped at about the 3. Jamal Miles with the carry out of Arizona State University. He also played some Canadian football, Coach, for Edmonton.
You know, a lot of these guys have, had an opportunity to either play at a higher level of 11-man football. A few of them here and there have gotten into some NFL camps. They're just trying to keep their dream alive, and the IFL is a great league. A lot of talented guys. I've been really impressed with the skill level of a lot of the receivers in this league.
Second down. Hand off to Genesee, and he will barrel his way down into the end zone. Good blocking up front, and then he just put his head down. Genesee is a big kid.
We were watching him warm up tonight. We were commenting on that when they were out here warming up about 45 minutes prior to the ball game tonight.
Now Camacho going to look to tie the game almost halfway through the second quarter. And he puts it through. So we're tied at 14. A quick answer for the Rattlers thanks to that 40-yard return by Harrington and then a couple plays to get it into the end zone. And the Strike Force, really, they've just got to try to match them up here. And they didn't really show that they were trying to run a lot of clock on that last drive. They were just running their offense.
Yeah, more than anything else, they've done a good job of running their offense tonight. And the thing that I like about the Strike Force offense, even when Bernard was the quarterback, they weren't scoring points. The problem was they were turning it over too much, Teddy. And they finally wanted to give Vercher an opportunity. They were getting blitzed over in Arizona. They put him in. He played very well, led him to a couple of scoring drives. And then, when you're 0-6, you got nothing to lose. They gave him a start last week against Cedar Rapids, played a heck of a football game, threw the ball very well, made great decisions. Therefore, he gets the start tonight. Derek Bernard, their starting quarterback, and the guy who's actually leading the IFL in passing, is a very talented football player. But because he's so talented, sometimes he tries to get away with that talent and tries to force too many balls. And 12 interceptions is just too many in this league.
Yeah, our friend Mark Halda used to always say that when you have a good arm, sometimes you think you can make any throw even when it's not there.
That's a very good point.
Camacho with another high kick, and it goes into the stands. These two teams are going to match up 2 more times, Coach. May 19th here
kickoff
at
went
Pechanga.
out of bounds
And then
over
the
sideline.
final
By
regular
rule,
season
will be
game
placed
at
the
Arizona.
20-yard line. First down, San Diego.
Well, I've been telling people, you know, from the first game I came out to do, which was 4 home games ago to now, this team is night and day. They've consistently gotten better throughout the course of the season. They don't have the wins to show for it, but they're much more competitive, and they're really, I think, with the coaching staff in place, the players, they've bought in, they're pulling the rope in the right direction, and that's why they continue to get better.
Jihad Vircher has Morera off his right hip. And he's going to keep it up the middle. Oh, what a move to the outside. Got to the midfield and then stopped at the 23-yard line. Merriweather is wondering where that ghost was that he was trying to grab.
Yeah, keep that clock rolling. Keep that clock rolling. You want to shorten the game. Vircher's 220 pounds. He's not like a little guy back there, Teddy. He's a good, solid 220 pounds.
Yeah, and a shifty 220. That was a heck of a move he put on Merriweather. Second down and a couple yards at the 22.
Offensive line playing much better than they did early in this football game.
Morera in the backfield. Vircher fakes it to him. Now looking for the end zone in the corner and incomplete. Broken up there by Philip Henry out of South Carolina State. He's looking for Julian Stafford in the far corner.
I was watching the offensive line that time. I mentioned early in the game they were having some problems, and they were running their linebacker Ricky Wyatt Jr. on a delayed blitz. That offensive line right now picking things up, feeling like they're I think have some solutions. Where early on they were really getting worked over, but you know, James Kilmer's their offensive line coach. He's been around San Diego working with offensive linemen for a long time. Does a heck of a job.
High snap. Vircher has to chase it down. Eludes the tackler. Now just trying to make something out of it. He's going to lose a ton of yardage back to his own 22-yard line and brings up 4th down.
Well, a couple of things. Yeah, he probably could have thrown that ball away. He had plenty of time, but his receivers all stopped. They didn't continue to run their routes or try to come back. Their receivers were within 10 yards of where Vircher was. Send somebody, go up the field, keep moving. The last thing you want to do is when your quarterback's in trouble to just stop. You got to keep moving and give him an opportunity to make a play. He probably should have thrown that ball in the stands, though.
Well, Ernesto Lacayo is going to come out and try a long field goal. He had a 51-yarder and a 43-yarder last week in their win against Cedar Rapids. Holder is Jackson Dallas. Good hold. Got the kick away. And it's going to be wide, and that will be Arizona football.
That ball, you didn't hear the thump. When he really kicks, you hear that thump. You just heard kind of a soft hit on the ball that time. Didn't hit it well at all.
Now, it looked like he was a little concerned. Remember, he's already had a kick blocked on an extra point. He was concerned about that up the middle rush. So the Rattlers are going to take over at their own 5-yard line after the missed field goal, which is better than if you go for it on 4th down and say you throw incomplete. They get the ball all the way back at your 22. So the risk reward was good.
Yeah, you don't have to be a punter in this league. No punters. They don't carry them on the roster in the IFL.
That's right. You don't want to be wrecking the scoreboards hanging over the field. Under 5 minutes to go in the half. Now the Rattlers with a chance to reclaim the lead. Ziemba, he wants it all on the first play, and it's incomplete. Way overthrows Jared Harrington. And the strike force had him pretty well covered anyway.
Well, Omar Cook was the primary defender, running stride for stride with Harrington. That ball overthrown. Omar Cook, not only is he a good cover man, he's a real good defender against the run. Real good run-stopping defensive back.
Well, let's see if they stick with that same strategy now on 2nd down.
Mikel Mayer must be hurt, Teddy. They took him out here towards the end of the first quarter. He's not been back in the game.
Ziemba this time a quick throw on the near sideline, and stopped at the 10 is Harrington. So they get about half of it, and it'll be 3rd down and about 5. Strikeforce and Bert Grossman have to be extremely pleased with the way this game has gone so far.
When I was watching that game a couple of weeks ago and they gave up 91, there was a point in time I thought the Rattlers may get to 100.
Ziemba on 3rd and 5. Quick throw to the right side. Harrington got past Cook that time and made an outstanding catch.
How about that throw by Ziemba, though?
Perfect throw.
Harrington started near side, took it all the way across, and just continued to run a crossing route right against the boards. Omar Cook, it was good defense. It was just well executed by the Rattlers. Ziemba to Harrington. Harrington's a nifty little receiver, isn't he?
He sure is, and Ziemba just put that right on the spot. Harrington will be one of the receivers in motion along with Sheldon Augustin. Harrington will not get it. It'll actually be Ziemba on the keeper. Down to about the 18-yard line, tried to use some misdirection there. Down to 2:40 to go, and as we saw last week, that's an eternity.
Now, Steve was talking about how quickly the game was moving, kind of like in baseball when you're in about the 4th. Man, this game's really flying. All of a sudden, you have like 6 pitching changes, a replay. That's what happened last week in the last minute of the first half against Cedar Rapids.
Roland Genesee spins out of a tackle at the 10 to the 5 into the end zone. There's a flag on the play, so we'll wait and see if it's going to hold as a touchdown.
I think that play is probably going to come back. It came from the back judge, and he fired it. I think he's going to see a holding call maybe.
But Genesee is a load.
Result of the play is post smash. Number 24, the defense. That foul will go into the bank.
Wow, I didn't see that.
I didn't either.
I don't know if that was even part of the play, actually. It may have been away from the play.
Yeah, there it was right there. Deshaun Hawthorne got him with the face mask. It just didn't affect Genesee at all. He spun out of it. So the Rattlers now with a 6-point lead, looking to make it 7 here. Jimmy Camacho. And it's good. 21-14. Camacho has missed 5 extra points this year. He's now 53 of 58 on the season.
Well, with 2:09 to go, both teams still have 3 timeouts. Plenty of time, Teddy, for the Strikeforce to do some damage here. Even if they were to get a field goal, it'd be huge. I mean, you can go down there and tie it up at 21 at half, or even 21-17. It'd be huge. Now, remember, Arizona won the coin toss. They deferred, so they're going to get the ball to start the second half.
Yeah, so ideally, in order to not make that affect you as poorly as it could, you've got to come up with points on this. And ideally, you do it as the time runs out, and the Rattlers don't get a chance to get it back before the 3rd quarter.
The big thing is you don't want to leave any time on that clock to where Arizona can strike and, jump 2 scores up on you.
Yeah, you talked about that 91-point game. 91-58 was the final in that one. But to show their character, San Diego came back and got their first win of the season the next week. I think that shows a lot.
Well, they had a good week of practice last week. They had a good week of practice this week, and so far in the first half, it's showing.
And they sent Cedar Rapids into a losing streak. They lost again this week. They're now 1-7. Marquez Rogers from about the 2, and he gets tripped up at about the 15-yard line. Good open field tackle there by Sheldon Augustin.
You know, one thing I've noticed, and I know talking with
the kickoff was returned to the 14-yard line. The banked foul will enforce half the distance to the goal. First down, San Diego.
So that was the face mask call that now they're going to implement on this kick return.
One of the things I've noticed doing these games and talking to some of the coaches in the IFL, you know, a lot of times guys want to go down and engage with the blockers on kickoffs. What you need guys that are fast and can run around those blockers and not engage, and we just saw that on that last play by the Arizona Rattlers.
Yeah, so what people may not know about the IFL, you can actually bank penalties. That's what Arizona did after the touchdown and then used it on the kick return. That's Rashad Ridley with his first catch out of San Diego School of Mines and Technology. How about that?
That just sounds like you have to be a 4+ student, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, it does. So they are going to take their time here and try to leave the Rattlers at least with no chance of scoring.
Let's see after this second down, depending on what San Diego's able to do. Let's see if Kevin Guy may take a timeout on defense.
Vercher, quick throw, and he threw it out of bounds. That's going to bring up a third down. He was looking the way of Ridley again, but he was well covered, so he just threw it away. That's an illustration of what you were talking about there. Instead of trying to force it and possibly having a turnover late in the half in your own territory, throw it away and live to play another down.
Yeah, once you double pump, throw it away.
I believe the Rattlers.
That is the 1 minute warning.
Oh, it's the 1 minute warning. I was going to say I thought the Rattlers might call a timeout, but they knew the 1 minute warning was coming here. 21-14. Still a chance for the Strike Force if they can get a first down, or maybe they take a chance here on third down.
Got to find a way to get a first down here, and we've seen it a couple of times this year and in this game. Marquez Rogers been a real key guy on third down on some of those short routes where he just takes his defender deep and then comes back, posts up, and Vercher delivers the ball to him. Let's see if they go that direction right now.
And you've got the 6'6" Victor Dean Jr., though he's not on the field here for this play, so that will not be an option. He's got the most spectacular catch of the night so far. Morera is in the game. He's on the left hip of Vercher.
Yeah, George hasn't seen much action tonight as far as carrying the ball. One of the things he's real good at is running that wheel route out of the backfield. He's a good receiver.
Vercher steps up, and he's going to run for the first down, and then plenty of more. He's down to the 15 and slides at the 14-yard line. Good presence there.
Well, you talk about the parting of the Red Sea right there, Teddy. Everybody was into their routes. He went back, he was surveyed, pulled it down, and there's nobody even close to him right now. And a good job of getting down, not taking an unnecessary hit.
Clock restarted after the chains were set, down under 40 seconds at the 16 now. Well within striking distance for the Strike Force. Pitch to Morera. Cuts it inside. Still going down just shy of the 10-yard line. Stops the clock with 28 seconds to go. Timeout, Strike Force.
Timeout, San Diego. It's their first of the half.
Oh, this is playing right to the Strike Force liking right now. They got to be feeling pretty good. And, you know, if they're able to tie this thing up and going in the locker room, I mean, they got to feel really good about the way they're playing. The offensive line, after a shaky start, I thought the first series or two, has really picked things up. And they're really going at Arizona a variety of different ways right now. But if they can continue to run that football at the end of the first half and into the second half, that's going to really shorten the ball game and keep the Strike Force defense over there where they can sit on the bench and not be out here for an entire evening like they were a couple of weeks ago in Arizona.
And, Coach, they've got the whole playbook open to them here at the 11-yard line.
Well, you still got 2 timeouts.
2 receivers on the right side, make it 3 on the right side. Fake the pitch this time, and the pass is batted away.
That's an incomplete pass.
Well, that pocket
Moving
collapsed
on
on
the field
him
is
in
an
a hurry.
incomplete forward pass, third down San Diego.
That was Chris Wiggins just saying what you did. That's an incomplete pass. Down to 22 seconds remaining now, and it's a third down.
Yeah, you got to be careful now. You want to get some points out of here one way or the other, even if it's just a field goal. So you got to be a little bit careful. And then if you don't get the first down on this third down, what are you going to do? You going to go for it, or are you going to try to get almost automatic points by this week's IFL Special Teams Player of the Week, Latayo?
I got to think you got to go for some points one way or the other. If you don't get the touchdown here. And time called by San Diego.
Timeout, San Diego.
Yeah, I think
It's their second of the half.
I think they got into a formation that they were not comfortable with, and they decided to take that timeout. Now they're down to one timeout. Also gives that defense of Arizona a little blow as well.
Yeah, I didn't notice the play clock, but the way Vercher went up, it looked like maybe suddenly he realized the play clock was about to run out on him.
But I think they also had a formation. I think there was a problem with the formation as well.
Well, big opportunity for the Strike Force to tie this game up going into the half and leave the Rattlers no time to do anything about it.
As you well know, 15, 20 seconds in indoor football is a lot of time, especially when you got timeouts.
One timeout remaining for San Diego. Arizona has all three. And a flag at the line of scrimmage.
Well, false start.
You get the call from Chris Wiggins here.
He's been busy.
False start. Number 6 offense. Still third down.
So he crossed the line of scrimmage before the snap.
Well, the officials have a tough job when you got two guys coming to the line of scrimmage in a full bore and being able to gauge whether or not that ball's been snapped or not.
Yeah, I don't know if that one even really hurts them. It gives them a little more space now. You know, those DBs get more effective when they don't have to cover as much. Victor Dean Jr. back in the game, lined up to the left. Throwing over the middle, Rogers can't hang on.
That ball looked like it was a little bit behind him. A good in route by Marquise. Just unable to hang on to that football. Good coverage, but a good effort by Rogers to try to hang on. He's performed very well in this first half. That's one that he probably thinks he should have hung on to, but I think that ball was a little bit behind him. See it right here? Yeah, a little bit behind him. He tried to elevate and was unable to pull it in.
That's Dylan Winfrey on the coverage, just making sure he didn't pull it down. Fourth down. I don't see the special teams coming out here. They want the touchdown.
Now the other situation, Arizona gets the ball to start the second half as well.
Vercher throws over the middle, and there was some miscommunication there. Closest man to it was David Carter. He ran a drag route shy of the goal line, and that pass went into the end zone.
Yeah, he needed to run a post, and that's the ball that Vercher was throwing right there. But now you've given Arizona plenty of time, 13 seconds, and the Rattlers still have 3 timeouts.
Yeah, it's plenty of time to get on the board, whether it's a touchdown or a field goal. Jimmy Camacho this year is just 1 of 4 on field goals with a long of 17. So, they're 6-0, and they've dominated in most of their games. They haven't had to really ask Camacho to kick any long field goals. You got to watch out for Harrington, who will get a running start here.
Got to keep everybody in front of you. Force them to burn those timeouts.
Ziemba throws over the middle, and it's incomplete. Intended for Jamal Miles, who just couldn't hang on.
Harrington looked like he got shot by a sniper. He was running straight up the field, number 16 for Arizona, and I don't know what happened, if he the turf monster got him, but he just fell flat on his face.
Yeah, it looked like he juked himself out of his move there. 8 seconds to go. This is probably going to be a couple shots to the end zone now.
I would certainly think so. Get some pressure on Ziemba. Don't let him sit back there and pat the ball for a week and a half.
Throws over the middle. Miles makes the catch this time and is stopped about the 12-yard line, maybe the 13.
Well, good job by Miles. Crossing around Ziemba hit him, and Miles knew and was aware of the time, and he just jumped and gave himself up. So they'll probably try to kick a field goal here, I would certainly think.
This will be the final play either way, and Camacho is out. So he's going to try a field goal to put him up by 10. This would be his longest field goal made of the season if he makes it. And the Strike Force going to use their final timeout.
Timeout, San Diego. It's their third and final timeout of the
Can't
half.
take it with you, right, Coach?
That's exactly right. And like I mentioned, Teddy, you know, with 18 seconds, the Rattlers got the ball back, and they very well may attack on 3 points. This hurts. I mean, this really hurts because it looked like the strike force might do some damage and might be able to stick one in the end zone and tie this ball game up, or at least go for a field goal and maybe be down 21-17. But now, all of a sudden, this game could turn very quickly if Arizona is able to kick this field goal and take a 10-point lead in the locker room.
We're at the midway point of the season. This is the start of the second half. Rattlers with a half-game lead over both the Iowa Barnstormers and Sioux Falls Storm, who are both 6-1.
All right, fans, let's hear it for that defense.
Here's Camacho now to try a season-long field goal. Good hold. The kick is plenty strong, and it is good.
No good.
No good. It's no good, so the Strike Force get a break. 21-14, the Rattlers lead it. And now there's a challenge flag being thrown by the Rattlers. So don't go to the locker room just yet.
Challenging an illegal defensive formation. The previous play is under review.
Oh boy, you know, we saw something similar last week against Cedar Rapids where it looked like San Diego had a stop and then they got called for an illegal defense. They eventually did get that stop, but this could extend it for Camacho to have another shot here.
Let's take a look. They're going to huddle up again. And again, if there's no illegal defense, that's the end of the half. There is an illegal defense, then they're going to be at least one more play.
Coming up next week for the San Diego Strike Force, they'll be on the road at Tucson against the Sugar Skulls. And then they play them here on May 9th. So it'll be a little home and home against Tucson. It's a team that they lost to in week 2, 65-44.
I'm going to be real anxious to see if they agree with head coach Kevin Guy and call an illegal defense, because this crew has been on those illegal defenses in all 4 games I've seen them do here.
Here's the call from Chris Wiggins.
After review, the challenge is upheld. The defensive line was not lined up head-to-head. Be a 5-yard penalty, 1 untimed down.
Boy, that could cost them 3 points right here, or maybe they'll bring their offense out and go for it.
Heck, I still see Camacho out there. Yep, Camacho's going to try a field goal again.
That really hurts. You go in 7 down, you go in 10 down, and you're not getting the football to start the third quarter. That hurts. Let's see what Camacho's able to do with his second opportunity.
Puts it up. And that one is through. So the Rattlers will take a 24-14 lead into the locker room, Coach. And in a first half that was played really well by San Diego until those last few minutes when they couldn't get on the board and then they give up points on the other end.
Well, it really hurts because Arizona got the ball with 18 seconds to go. They're able to go down, try a field goal. They missed it, and we'd have gone to halftime, but they had an illegal defense. They give Arizona and Camacho a second opportunity. He drills it through the uprights. Now, all of a sudden, completely different ball game. Strike Force is down by 10 points. They're going to have to kick off to Arizona to start the second half. A lot of pressure on the Strike Force defense to start the second half. They can't allow Arizona to stick one in the end zone and go down by 17 before their offense gets the ball back.
So our score at the half, 24-14. We'll take a break. We'll come back with some of the halftime numbers in a little bit. You're watching San Diego Strike Force football.
From Tijuana, Mexico to the field as members of the Lee Hoopa Flag Football League. The Dragons
2 minutes?
When we get a minute on the clock there, we're going to go.
Okay.
So we can relax.
Yeah.
The goals are up 2-1 against the Barracudas.
Nice.
If there are a lot of people here, this would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and the atmosphere always makes a difference.
Yeah.
I'm still having fun, though.
Oh, me and Quiz, we have a great time doing these games. And when we leave, when we're done, we just walk down here. We walk, and there'll be a gate open. We can walk right to the parking lot. We can be out of here like in 2 minutes.
Yeah, I didn't park in the media parking. I just parked in the general parking.
Okay.
All right, got about a minute. On your marks.
On your marks.
Well, we welcome you back to Pechanga Arena, where the San Diego Strike Force find themselves down 24-14, Coach, in a game that at one point, late in the first quarter, they led 14-7.
Well, they did a lot of really good things in the first half. The offense, I think, did a nice job. I thought the defense at times played very well, but they let that game slip away a little bit, Ted, there at the end of the second quarter. They had an opportunity maybe to go in and tie the ball game up before halftime, but they were unable to get it done on a fourth down. They gave Arizona the ball with 18 seconds to go. Arizona misses a long field goal, but the Strike Force penalized for an illegal defense, and they gave Camacho and the Rattlers a second opportunity. He whacked it through the uprights, so Arizona got out of here with a 10-point lead at halftime and also gets an opportunity to receive the second half kickoff. So the defense of the Strike Force is going to have to step up in a big way on this first series of the second half.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. As they get ready to start the second half, the defense needs a stop, and the offense needs to get back on track. Both teams out ready to play. They've gone through their warm-ups. Jeff Ziemba was 6 of 11 in that first half for 90 yards and a touchdown. Jihad Vercher, 7 of 14, 57 yards and a touchdown, and what a touchdown that was to Victor Dean, the 6'6" wide receiver, a 10-yard pass where he flipped over the corner of the end zone that at the time gave him the lead.
You know, I thought Marquez Rogers played very well in that first half. He had 3 rushing attempts for 8 yards and a touchdown. He also had 3 catches for 19 yards. Did a real nice job on kick returns. Real good first half for Rogers, no question about it. But I think it's going to be all about the defense in the second half. And we did not get a report, but the leading tackler from the Strike Force, Mikel Mir, been out of this ball game since the end of the first period. And let's see if he comes back here in the third quarter or not. But Lonnie Bickham III did a nice job of filling in for him.
Lacayo to kick it off. Rattlers will be going left to right as we start the third quarter. Harrington has it bounce off his hands. Let's see if the Strike Force can take advantage of that. Spins out of one tackle, but then dragged down. Nice open field hit by Tyler Thornton, and then coming in and helping him out was George Morera Jr., who we did not hear a lot of offensively in the first half.
I'll be interested to see if they try to get George involved offensively, maybe more in the passing game than the running game. I go back a couple of games when they played against Green Bay. He had a really nice ball game catching the ball out of the backfield. Even last week, he only had 1 catch in their win over Cedar Rapids, but had a big day running the football. I'd like to see them maybe get him involved in the passing attack, because he's a really nice receiver out of the backfield.
Jeff Ziemba, who had 1 touchdown pass in the first half. And he will hand it off, Genesee, to about the 12.
Boy, Genesee, one or two guys don't bring him down. The other thing about Genesee, he's always going forward, Ted. A big, strong guy in his upper body, slight waist, powerful legs, but boy, he's a well-conditioned athlete, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's got the look of a running back. If you picture a running back, that's Genesee, who's now lined up wide on the right side. And it's a keeper by Ziemba. Nice job getting outside as a player loses his helmet. That's going to be a first down for the Rattlers.
Ziemba's a very nice field general. I mentioned in the first half, IFL Rookie of the Year last year. I mean, you come to the Arizona Rattlers and you're the starting quarterback as a rookie, you got to be awful good, and he was.
Under head coach Kevin Guy in his 11th year as the head man, 15 years as the GM of this franchise. And Genesee got a head of steam across midfield down to the 19-yard line. And they are just doing some power football coming out of the gate here in the second half.
Yeah, that offensive line really generating a good burst right now. You can take a look at the strike force defensive line. You can see they're already a little bit gassed. A lot of hands on their hips right now. And that offensive line for the Arizona Rattlers coming off the ball, coming low, and getting underneath that pad level of the strike force defensive front right now.
First and 10 from the 20 of San Diego. Genesee and Harrington will both be in motion. On the play action, Ziemba couldn't find a man. Now he throws late, and it's caught. What a job by Sheldon August. No, excuse me. That was Jared Miles coming back to the football there. And we've got an injured San Diego player.
Down. Boy, that was a good job by Ziemba because Sergio Phillips put on a great move on the outside, little arm over to his offensive line defender of the Rattlers. But Ziemba felt the pressure, stepped up, and delivered a beautiful ball where only his guy could get to the ball. And let's see who that is. And looks like they're working on that right knee right now.
Yeah, it's Deshaun Hawthorne. They can ill afford to lose him on the defense. He's played a great game so far. And he is able to walk off on his own power, and he's getting a little bit of help, actually.
Yeah, hopefully he can walk it off and get back in this football game.
Hawthorne is not on the stat sheet, but he's been in the middle of a bunch of plays. So a first down after that nice catch by Jamal Miles. Gives them a first and goal at the 4-yard line. Opening possession already up by 10 and looking for more. Strike force with just one interception on the season. It'll be Genesee following his blockers down near the goal line, stacked up at the 1. And that's where he'll go down after a 3-yard pickup.
Boy, this has been all about physicality so far here in the second half. I'm sure Kevin Guy gave his ball club the what for, saying, hey, we beat these guys 91-58 2 weeks ago. We're not here in San Diego on a vacation. Let's go out there and play Rattler football. And I think they're doing a good job of it here early in the third quarter.
Knocking on the door to a 17-point lead. Miles and Harrington will be in motion. And it's Genesee left side into the end zone, and that official gets out of the way in a hurry. Didn't want to become a pancake there in the corner. Touchdown Rattlers.
Yeah, that was far too easy. You know, I was going to mention about Kevin Guy. You mentioned 15 years as the GM, 11 years as the head coach. When the Strike Force had their initial press conference to announce this franchise, I was there. I was sitting right in the first row. Kevin Guy was nice enough actually to fly over and be a part of that press conference. Just wanted to give the San Diego franchise, you know, some support and had a nice conversation with him. He's a real nice guy.
Extra point by Camacho, but a flag on the play, so hold everything. Yeah, Kevin Guy is somebody who goes way back into the Arena Football League, Arena 2, and now in the Indoor Football League.
During the try, holding number 33 of the kicking team. It's a 10-yard penalty. We will replay the down.
All right, so they're going to make him re-kick it. Connor Flagel called for the hold. Flagel, a guy that got a cup of coffee with the Oakland Raiders. 6'5", 305. Lined up at that right tackle spot. And it's blocked. That was Terrence Fulham with the block. Boy, Camacho was real casual with that kick, and that allowed Fulham to get in there.
Yeah, he sure took his time getting that kick off, and not to take anything away from Terrence Fulham, who's played really good football in a Strike Force uniform. He's one of their top defenders, no question about it. Actually has their only sack on the year, Teddy.
That's right. But San Diego down 16's got to go to work offensively now. 30-14 the score early in the third quarter.
And that drive, like I mentioned, far too easy for the Rattlers. The big boys up front just started taking over and pushing the defensive line and the Strike Force around on that drive.
Yeah, really imposed their will and relied a lot on Roland Genesee on that drive, who is a physical runner. In fact, I don't think they completed one pass. That was the one to Jamal Miles. Other than that, they just ran it down their throats.
That's exactly right. They just played the big boy football.
Camacho puts it high in the air this time. Rogers from the back of the end zone. Coverage is there. He runs around the first man, got it up to the 15, still on his feet. Tried to strip the football. Could not get it. Devin Cockrell had a hold of the football there for a moment. Rogers did a nice job just to get it there. The coverage was down at the 5 when he came out of the end zone.
Marquez Rogers, I think we got a long ways to go in this football game. He's had a really good night, both catching it, running it, and returning it. I think he's going to sleep in on Tuesday morning.
He's got 19 yards rushing. He's got 8 yards receiving and a touchdown. David Carter and Julian Stafford, and oh man, that went all the way back to the end zone. And Vercher's just going to kick it out of the back to avoid the touchdown.
Well, that's going to be a safety, but they're going to go ahead and throw the flag just because of illegal touching. But that was a smart move by Vercher. There have been a couple of high snaps. One early in the game, it was on a 4th down. When he was looking downfield, the snap was a little bit high. That one was just flat out right over his head. And right now, the Strike Force starting to melt down early in this third quarter.
The officials are huddling up over this one. It's going to be a safety.
Yeah, it's illegal touching.
Illegal kicking. Number 4 of the offense. That penalty's declined. The result of the play is a safety.
Illegal touching, illegal kicking. It was illegal. It's a safety. We knew that.
So it'll be 32-14, but more importantly, the Rattlers are going to get the ball right back after one play on offense. That's how you start getting into the 90s scoring, when the opposition makes mistakes like that.
What was a 10-point ball game now is exploding in a hurry here.
And certainly part of the strategy for the Strike Force was to control the clock and limit possessions by the Rattlers. You're not going to do that with mistakes like that.
Now what it forces you to do is to take a lot of chances. And when you take a lot of chances, you're opening yourself up to maybe go the other way on your opponent, because your opponent's going to play with their defense, and you're going to take some chances. You may give them an opportunity to turn the ball over against you.
Lacayo with the kick. And the return up to the 15-20-yard line, 23-yard line. New return man in there was Sheldon Augustine.
Good tackle by Lonnie Bickham III, who's playing the linebacker spot since the end of the first quarter, doing a nice job on that tackle.
Well, only 5 minutes into this third quarter, and they've already given up 9 points. Ziemba now comes in at quarterback.
Need a turnover real bad right now just to kind of get that momentum going and get the crowd into it.
Well, if you know they're going to start power running it, maybe you do try to put a hat on the football. Play action. Ziemba sets up a screen, and it's Genesee going down the sideline to the 11, and there's a flag back in the backfield. I believe a late hit coming against San Diego.
Well, that was a well-designed middle screen, no question about it. Very well designed. Good job by that offensive line of Arizona setting that up.
Holding, number 77 offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Maybe that's why they set it up so well. They were holding.
Well, the flag came down as Ziemba got shoved to the turf. I thought they were going to get him for a late hit, but this turns out much better. Oh, 77 just took the defensive lineman on the left side and threw him to the ground. That's Terrence Fulham.
You know what I like about this game right now? As I'm seeing two teams out there competing, and we've not had one like chippy episode in this game. Guys are complimenting one another, tapping the other guy from the other team on the helmet, saying good job. These guys are playing hard, and they're not playing dirty.
First down from the 12. And a nice job with the hit in the backfield. And there's Mayer. He's back in the game.
Back in the ball game. Good to see. He's their leading tackler, and you miss him. Yeah, when Sergio Phillips had to go out there at the end of the first quarter due to an injury and they stopped playing, Chris Wiggins, the official, sent him off. Mayer went out, and Bickham came back in, and I'd not seen McKell back on the field until right now.
Well, that was a nice job on the read option there, getting to the quarterback. There's a throw over the middle, and he overthrew his man intended for Jamal Miles. On the coverage, Omar Cook.
Omar Cook's been really active tonight, both in coverage and in run defense. He's really good. You know, he's like a safety, but he's got the skill level, Ted, to cover like a corner, but he's got a lot of tendencies of a great safety because he's not afraid to come up and stick his nose in it.
Communicating to the rest of the defensive backs to look for the deep ball here on third down. Ziemba looks like he's going to do just that. Lots of time now, he'll dump it off. And it's Genesee across midfield for a sizable gain, but still fourth down.
Well, they'll go for it. When you're up 32-14, you got all the momentum here in the third quarter. The Rattlers have plenty of confidence in their offense to go for it here rather than trying a long field goal.
They need about 7 yards to get a first down. Genesee will line up off his right hip. Ziemba throws to the far side, incomplete. Miles again, the intended receiver, and he overthrew him.
Good job by the defense and the strike force, just what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, another thing that you notice in indoor football that you don't see in regular football, the chain gang does not stay with the chains because that's a dangerous spot to be standing while play's going on. So you'll see them, they'll go set the down marker, set the chains, and then they run off to the side out of the way.
Do you blame them?
No, not at all. That's why we're up here.
I'd like to be that sideline official on near side and far side on a run play your way.
Yeah, better have some good hops, get up on the boards.
Either that or you become a pancake.
And the first play to Morera, and he is hit in the backfield and dropped. Wyatt Jr., who has had a heck of a game. We've called his name quite a bit tonight.
And you know what? I was talking with Derek Dolan, who's the defensive coordinator for the strike force, and he looked at tape on both offense and defense, obviously, but he was telling me Ricky Wyatt Jr., he thinks he's as good a defender as there is in this league right now.
Well, he's certainly showing that. That's his 5th tackle of the night. He's also got a pass breakup. Been all over the field, plays right there, middle linebacker. Let's see if Vircher can get something downfield here. Quick throw to Rogers, and he gets back to about the original line of scrimmage, maybe a yard ahead of that. Third down there in Arizona territory.
You know, Arizona, Kevin Guy has been so involved with football over there in Arizona. 15 years GM, 11 years now as a head coach. A lot of these guys have played for him in the past. They've got a system, and they know their system. And, you know, you're playing a team like the Strike Force, who's an expansion franchise. You know, they have a lot to learn, but the one thing about the Strike Force, they have consistently gotten better this year.
Vircher throwing it for the end zone, and it's intercepted. Alan Chapman now on the return. And his helmet gets ripped off as he's brought down by Julian Stafford.
That ball well overthrown. They had a man-on-man with Victor Dean Jr. going down there, and that ball was just badly overthrown.
For Vircher, just his second interception on the season.
On the field is an interception returned by the defense to the 10-yard line. First down, Arizona.
Well, that hurts. Coming away again with an empty possession on offense.
Alan Chapman, it was almost like he was back there fielding a punt. He was the safety, kind of just out there doing whatever he wanted, playing center field.
Ziemba back out there now to lead the offense, 32-14 Arizona. And incomplete. He and Miles have not been able to match up the last few times he's thrown to number 2's way.
Well, that's tough. The defense did a really nice job last trip out for the Strike Force. Then the offense ends up turning it over right away. This is what you worry about when you play a team like Arizona. That defense having to be on the field a whole lot. Eventually, they're gonna physically wear down.
Second down. And tosses it out of the backfield to Genesee. Shakes one man across midfield, and it takes a couple to bring him down at the 22-yard line.
Well, they're really gouging the Strike Force now with a little screen pass. We saw one earlier that ended up coming back on a hold. Right there they had Mikel Mir blitz, and he came right up the middle, so they dumped it to the left. There was no coverage out there, so another positive and a big play for the Arizona Rattlers, who right now seem to be opening up their playbook and expanding throughout the course of the third period.
Taking advantage of a defense over-committing to that deep ball. Play action for Ziemba. And the throw, did he catch it? Yes, he did. Down at the 9-yard line is Harrington.
Nice job by Harrington. Not afraid to get down in the turf here at Pechanga Arena. Harrington's had a good night, and Ziemba doing a nice job of keeping that ball low to where only his guy could catch it.
Harrington, a speedy receiver out of Campbellsville University. Seems like your typical possession type receiver with some speed to burn as well. The San Diego Strike Force are going to challenge that catch.
He's also got, I think he plays with a little bit of an edge.
San Diego is challenging the ruling on the field of a catch.
Well, we couldn't see it here because it was up against those boards, so we were screened from the play.
They should be able to tell very quickly on this. There's a good picture of Derek Dahlm, the defensive coordinator for the Strike Force. A couple of young ladies out on a Monday night having a good time. Everyone has a good time when they come to the Pechanga Arena for a Strike Force game.
It's a great night to come out with the family and enjoy some good competitive football. There's some talented athletes out there on that field. Remind you that the San Diego Strike Force will be back here at Pechanga Arena on May 9th. That is against the Tucson Sugar Skulls, and that's after they play them on the road about 5 days before that. Still reviewing whether or not the play was a catch by Harrington, Jared Harrington, 5'9", 180. You know, if you were playing 11-man football, that'd be like your slot possession receiver.
That's right. It'd be kind of like a Wes Welker type guy.
Yeah. You know, really, these Arizona Rattlers, Coach, they're basically the New England Patriots of the IFL. 6 world championships, their latest one just 2 years ago. And their legacy goes back to the early 90s and Danny White, even before that.
Well, Danny White, of course, played at Arizona State and then had that great career with the Dallas Cowboys, was the first. And for a long time, he was the head coach of the Arizona Rattlers, and that's what really got it started.
Here's the call.
After review, the ruling on the field of a catch stands. San Diego will be charged a timeout, and they've used the first
So
of
the
their
call
2
stands.
challenges.
That means they couldn't
First
see
down,
anything
Arizona.
to reverse it. So the original call stands, and it'll be 1st and goal at the 8-yard line. And Genesee, right side, down to the 5-yard line. Good job holding his ground there. Looked like Deshaun Hawthorne in on the play. It was actually Lonnie Bickham III.
Yeah, he's played a pretty good ball game coming in there late in the first quarter for McElmere. Now they got Lonnie along that defensive line. Not afraid to stick his nose in there.
Played at Southwestern Community College, did Bickham. Ziemba, the handoff to Miles, and he's caught in the backfield by Terrence Fulham, and let's hope he's okay.
Oh, he got rolled up on
sure
from
did.
Behind. Oh, that was ugly.
Did a great job of cornering Miles and not letting him get around the corner.
Yeah, he's going to limp off and come out for a play. I think he's going to be okay. I think he was scared more than anything else, Teddy, the way he got hit from behind.
I didn't see who it was that hit him there. But good to see him get up on his own there. And it'll be 3rd down. Down to about 2 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Strike Force has not scored since 5 minutes into the 2nd quarter. There's a toss to Miles this time, and again they're going to bottle him up. Great defense. Coach, that was good team defense. Guys staying home and letting the rest of their teammates come up and help.
Well, this defense hasn't played all that bad. I mean, you're going against a team that normally puts up, somewhere in the 60 and 70 point threshold. Of course, a couple weeks ago they got the Strike Force for 91. But I think this defense has played very well, and I think Derek Dolan, if you talk to him, yeah, there'd be a point here or there he might criticize his defense, but overall, he's got to be pretty happy with the production tonight.
4th down from the 6. Ziemba looking left all the way, now comes back right. Under pressure now, just lofts it, and it's incomplete as one of his receivers goes flying out of the back of the end zone. Everybody gets up and is okay, and the Strike Force get a hold.
Good job at defense right there. Not only that, I mean, the Arizona offensive line did a good job of keeping guys off of Ziemba. He had plenty of time to survey the field, and finally he threw one in the back of the end zone that went out of bounds. But you got to give a lot of people credit. That's secondary right now for the Strike Force, doing a pretty nice job.
And a pretty smart throw there by Ziemba. You're either going to have a spectacular touchdown catch or it's going to be incomplete.
Let's see if Vercher in this offense can get rolling here with only less than 2 minutes to go here in the first half, or in the 3rd quarter, I should say.
We have something to build on here. Let's see. There's a quick throw to the outside. David Carter, haven't called his name all night, makes the catch.
You'd love to be able to get a score on the board before the end of the 3rd quarter, but 44 seconds and counting right now.
That is David Carter's first catch of the night out of Seton Hall. Down to the final 30 seconds of the quarter, Vercher sends 2 receivers. Late blitz comes and Carter makes the catch, has to shake a man, he does. Down to the 17-yard line. Nice job by Carter in the open field. He shook Devin Cockrell and got the first down.
And that'll probably be the last play, Teddy, of the 3rd quarter.
Yep, they're going to let it wind down. So a little momentum building to get the first down, maybe a chance to score at the start of the fourth quarter. 32-14, Arizona leads it. We'll be back with the
Text to win with me, presented by Hartling by Tom. Johnny Oliveri from Lakeside, Aaron Strauss from El Cajon. Each get tickets to the Strike Force's next football game on Thursday, May 9th, and an official Strike Force football. Thanks for entering, and for everyone else to be sure to text Strike Force to 484848 for your chance to win. Again, you want to text Strike Force to 484848.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
We can do better than that. Come on, San Diego, you ready for the fourth quarter?
Well, San Diego got a little momentum right there at the end of the third quarter with a first down, and they will start the fourth quarter at their own 17, first and 10. Morera is back in the game, and now he goes in motion out to the wide side left. Vercher against the blitz, throwing deep and incomplete, intended for Stafford.
Teddy, looking at the third quarter stats, quarterback Jeff Ziemba, Arizona, so far 11 of 20, 152 yards and a touchdown. Jahab Vercher for the Strike Force, 10 of 18, 72 yards, a touchdown, and an interception.
There's Stafford. Had a step on his man, Alan Chapman, on that last play. They might put that one in their hip pocket and try it again. Third down now. And a handoff to Morera. He is stuffed across the line of scrimmage. Connor Flagel in there amongst many.
Well, Strike Force down 32-14. They've got 2 timeouts left, 14 minutes to go. They're going to have to start taking a few more shots, I think, down the field.
You know, one thing that they can take going into this fourth quarter, though, is they've played much more competitive football against the Rattlers than they did the first time around. Vercher. Oh, it slipped out of his hand, and it's going to fall, luckily for him, incomplete.
That came off sideways, didn't it?
I don't know if he was hesitant to throw or what happened there.
I just don't think he had a good grip on the ball, and he looked like he was throwing a curveball there.
And now it'll be fourth down. He's lucky that ball didn't get picked off. They would call that one a dead duck. So let's see if the Strike Force can keep it alive here. Rogers lines up wide to the left. Here comes the blitz. Vercher on the run. And tosses it to Carter, who makes the catch at the 20 down to the 18. Multiple flags on the play.
Probably got a hold, Teddy, I'm assuming.
Zen Jones lost a shoe.
Yeah, it looked like one of the Rattlers got pulled down. Not sure who they're going to nail on this, but I'm pretty sure that play's coming back.
And I'm not so sure Vercher wasn't across the line of scrimmage when he threw that ball.
Well, Arizona's pointing that it's going back. Let's see, the officials are discussing it right now.
There were 2 fouls, both against the offense. Holding, number 70 the offense, that penalty's declined. Illegal forward pass,
Yep, there you go.
throwing the ball from beyond the line of scrimmage, number 4 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty and a loss of down. The ball will go over on downs to Arizona. First down.
Well, I had the hold. You had the illegal forward pass by crossing the line of scrimmage, so we're both right on there.
Well, I would have rather had the hold there and not the illegal forward pass. But nonetheless, Arizona is taking over either way.
And I would imagine Arizona's going to run the football a little bit and keep things rolling here. They may take a shot here and there, but I think they might just run the football and try to shorten the game here with the lead they have.
Well, just the killer on that last drive was the ball slipping out of Jihad Virture's hand. So they didn't even really get a chance to get some yardage, possibly even a first down. And now Arizona takes over at the 15-yard line. And it's going to be Hallbrook now in at quarterback, Caleb Hallbrook, 6'3", 230 out of Oklahoma Panhandle State University. Hallbrook this year has thrown 7 passes, so like you said, they're probably going to run the ball a lot. And it's Genesee, cuts it right up the middle and just bowls over Omar Cook inside the 5.
He is a load.
Yeah, Omar Cook got to the position.
Watch him get that pad level down. Just driving those legs, the old high knees right there.
What's the old saying? Low pad wins, right?
That's right. See it again right here. Coming off the guard, getting upfield, dropping those pads.
Back to live action, Genesee again. Oh, and he's decked just shy of the goal line. Thornton, excuse me, with the hit. Tyler Thornton serving as a brick wall on that play.
Well, he deserved a little credit for that, but the way he was marching around, the officials, I think, were about ready to throw the flag on him. But watch this one. Man, he absolutely takes him right into the boards. You'll see it right here. I mean, 2 powerful guys going right at it. How about that?
Tyler Thornton, 5'8", 195. Giving the fans some high fives after that one. Second down and goal. Hallbrook now goes to the shotgun, and he's going to take it himself, and he's into the end zone. Caleb Hallbrook with his first rushing touchdown of the season, and that'll make it 38-14 Arizona.
Well, there's no doubt Arizona's come out in the second half. This is a completely different football team than we saw in the first half. They got the word from their head coach, Kevin Guy, and they've come out and really played a well all-around game in the second half and in every area of the football game.
Jimmy Camacho now to try the extra point. Rattlers looking to improve to 7-0. Camacho, looks like he missed that one. We'll wait for the signal. Yep, he did. So 38-14 with 10:40 to go in the game. Well, Coach, what do you do now if you're the strike force? You just keep throwing the offense out there and start working on some things?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the strike force, I mean, they've done a lot of good things tonight. The scoreboard doesn't necessarily reflect it right now, but think about it, Ted. And once upon a time in the second quarter, this was a 21-14 ball game. And giving up that field goal at the gun after initially Camacho missed it, but the strike force was penalized for not lining up correctly on defense. They give him a second opportunity. He whacks it through, 10-point lead, and then they come out and they score 9 points really, really quick within the first 5 minutes of the third quarter, and the strike force have really had no answer for that ever since. But, you know, you got to take your shots. You got to continue to work. You got a young quarterback who hasn't played a lot this year in Virtue, and you just got to keep playing. You're playing now for next week and the following week.
Their next game coming up at Tucson, May 4th. The Sugar Skulls, as we speak right now, are 3-4 on the season. Camacho kicks it away. Rogers. And he'll be stopped shy of the 10-yard line. Jiha Vircher comes back out to lead the offense, and right now what you'd like in these final 10 minutes is to have something positive happen for you offensively.
Well, the Rattlers have done a very good job of really, I think, shutting down the run game tonight. George Moreira really hasn't been a factor in this game, nor has the strike force really repeatedly tried to go back and get him rolling. I'd like to see them throw the ball to Moreira out of the backfield because I think he's a pretty good receiver for a running back.
Coach, the strike force have run for -18 in the game. Deep throw for Rogers into double coverage. No chance there, incomplete.
No doubt the Rattlers on both sides of the ball have really revved it up and tightened it up in the second half.
Maybe peeled some paint off the walls after the halftime talk with Kevin Guy.
I would think so. You know, with Iowa getting beat over the weekend, you know, he probably wanted to remind them, hey, we're the only undefeated team. If you don't go out there and play a good second half, we may come back here with one blemish.
Vircher will keep it, and good job and good discipline by the Rattler defense there. Bring up third down. Just nowhere for him to go. They're not even respecting the fake to Moreira now.
No.
Let's see what they've got now on third down. Have to get to about the 17-yard line for a first down.
It's a very well-schooled defense Arizona brings in here tonight, Ted.
Throw over the middle, caught by Rogers at the 20-yard line and a first down.
Nice job. Good job by Vircher to survey the landscape. He went through his progressions, and a great job by Rogers being able to bring that back across the middle and go down and make a very, very nice catch. He's been a real plus tonight in this ball game for the strike force.
Yeah, you really like the way he stepped into that throw and just fired it into the breadbasket.
Well, you give Vircher an opportunity to go back there. He does a good job of keeping his head up, looking downfield, and seeing the different progressions. And you give him time, he can pick you apart.
First down from the 21-yard line. In trouble and sacked. McAllister with the sack out of Baylor University. And that's going to lose them a ton of yardage. It's a loss of 10, bringing up 2nd and 20. Vircher's pretty good at keeping those plays alive. And there, McAllister just got him twisted to where he couldn't.
You know, I've always said, and I was telling Steve Quiz on our last broadcast, I would love to have been sitting around the table when they came up with the rules for the Indoor Football League.
They have some interesting ones. I like the fact that there's no punts.
Yep.
And a flag. Looks like they ran out of time on the play clock there.
I think they're going to take a timeout and not penalize them.
Number 4.
They're going to say you got the timeout.
Correction. Prior to the delay, timeout, San Diego, their second charge timeout of the half.
Well, you know, I also got to give props to our crew here tonight. We've got some crew even down on the field. You can look right into the huddle right before they go to the line of scrimmage. A great job by everybody here tonight.
No question about it. They've worked extremely hard. A lot of it's the pregame. They're out here hours before the ball's ever kicked off, and they do an incredible job. They really do.
So remember, not only can you watch every game live on YouTube, but you can go back and watch the archives as well, getting ready for this game. I went back and watched their win over Cedar Rapids just to have an idea of what we'd be doing here tonight. Here we go out of the timeout, 2nd down and 20 after the sack by Chris McAllister. Vircher steps up, throws, and it's intercepted. Second pick of the night. Bringing it back now to the 15 near the 10-yard line. And he's still on his feet, and he's going to go into the end zone. Dylan Winfrey with the touchdown.
That's just a great play by Winfrey all the way around, and there's about 4 fallen Strike Force defenders that were trying to bring him down. A lot of frustration as I watch the unit, the offensive unit, walk to the bench right now for the Strike Force. Great job by Winfrey on that interception, though. Watch him juke, and I mean, this guy knows what to do when he has the football in his hands. Look at this right now. Once again, he's fighting. A lot of tired bodies, though, I think, right now in that offense for the Strike Force.
Second interception of the year for Winfrey, his first touchdown. Looks like he's played a little wide receiver in the past. Harrington going to run it in for 2 and make it an even 40-14 with 6:45 to go.
I wonder how that will go down with Coach Grossman and the Strike Force. A fake going for 2.
Well, I'll say this, they're not going to get to 91 tonight. But the Strike Force, after 5 minutes into the second quarter, had 14 points, has been shut out.
Yeah, their offense has come to a screeching halt. A screeching halt.
Yeah, and you mentioned the defense of the Rattlers. I think Vercher is not seeing what he thinks he sees the last couple times dropping back.
They put a lot of heat on him tonight. I mean, the few times that he's had an opportunity to sit back there and look around and go through his progression, he's done a pretty good job. But most of the night, they've had at least one guy in his face, and he's had to turn the ball down a couple of times and just try to make something. He's had a couple of nice runs tonight, but overall, he's played this game pretty much under duress.
So 46-14. Rattlers with the lead. Strike Force will get another shot on offense now. They've got just 2 first downs in the second half. It's been a dominating second half for Arizona. Rogers from the back of the end zone gets ahead of steam, squeezes his way up to about the 18-19 yard line.
Rogers, as I continue, I've talked about Marquez quite a bit tonight, but I'm just so impressed with him. I mean, he does a lot of things really, really well, and I love watching him return kickoffs. I mean, he just throws it into full throttle and tries to get up the field.
You know, he's only 5'10", but he plays bigger than that.
He looks a lot taller than 5'10". He really does.
Yeah, he's kind of rangy. He's got long limbs. And an excellent catch radius for Vercher. Victor Dean Jr. is checked in. He's in motion along with Stafford. Quick throw to Rogers. Across the 20, midfield, 20, 15. And they're going to say he's stepped, or was stopped, I should say, at the 14-yard line. I almost said stepped out of bounds. There's no such thing.
He just jetted up that far sideline. He had a little bit of a crease, and he just went flying.
Yeah, that's the thing that really jumps out at you, especially with him, is there's not much east-west in his game. He just heads right upfield. Vercher, another quick throw, same play. Rogers cuts it inside this time and is brought down by the big 300-pounder.
Oh, we're going to have a little penalty marker.
Chris McAllister with palms up, wondering what he did wrong. And Chris Wiggins is about to tell him.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct for taunting. Number 44, the defense. Half the distance to the goal and an automatic first down. It's number 44's first unsportsmanlike of the game.
That was McDowdell who was in on that tackle. How about McDowdell, who lines up on the line and then comes out and makes that play? He's actually off the field here.
Yeah, I don't think Kevin Guy was all that enthused about that personal foul penalty.
Fakes the throw this time. Vercher spins upfield inside the 5-yard line, and then he's dropped.
You were talking about McDowell, who came out of the ball game after getting that unsportsmanlike call. How about this? Big guy, 6'4", 325 out of the University of Central Florida.
Yeah, you certainly know he's in the game when he comes in. He's the biggest man on the field by a long shot. On second down, pitch to Morera, and he just couldn't find anywhere to go, and he's going to be dropped in his tracks.
Well, the clock continues to run. 4:30 and counting right now. 46-14. The Rattlers leading the Strike Force. Strike Force trying to find a way to dent the scoreboard here in the second half.
It'll be something to build on going into next week against Tucson. Third down from the 7. Vercher, he's going to scramble, and that'll set up a 4th down at about the 3. Tackle made by Ricky Wyatt Jr., who's had a great game tonight.
Yes, he has.
He has 2 tackles for losses, and he also leads the team with 7 tackles overall.
Well, the Arizona Rattlers, after the ball game, probably about 45 minutes after this ball game's over, they'll hop a bus and drive all night to get back to the Phoenix area.
Fake the pitch, and Vercher is going to be sacked. He hopes he's sacked, because if he's not, that's going to be returned for a touchdown on the 3rd interception of the night, Chris McAllister, and they're signaling touchdown.
Well, I think it is a touchdown, Teddy.
Wow.
Oh, now we got another penalty flag. I don't think that's going to wipe the touchdown out.
Well, Vercher was shaken up on the play.
There's a challenge on the play.
And on 4th down, Vercher trying to make something happen.
Well, they're going to challenge the play, the Strike Force. Hey, it's either going to be a touchdown.
The ruling on the field is a pass intercepted by the defense. Result was a touchdown. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 90 of the defense for throwing the ball into the stands. Also, San Diego's challenged whether or not it was a forward pass.
Well, either way, it's either a touchdown for Arizona or it's going to be Arizona's ball because it was 4th down.
Well, we've had a chance to see it a couple times. I think this is going to get upheld, Coach. He was about to fall on his back. His knee was not down, and he threw the ball up for grabs, and McAllister opportunistic there to make the play.
And Chris Wiggins and his crew taking a look at it. Chris Wiggins was the official that was right on that play. He's the one responsible for the quarterback, and I think it's going to stand. I mean, if you're San Diego, why not challenge it? You got nothing to lose.
Right. So assuming it's going to stand, that's going to make it 52-14 with just over 3 minutes remaining in the game. Arizona right now in the middle of a 3-game road swing. They beat Tucson last week. They're going to beat San Diego tonight. Then they head to Sioux Falls. Sioux Falls will go into that game with a 6-1 record, so that's a big showdown coming up next week. Well, getting a chance to see this game up close and personal, you can see why a guy like Kurt Warner had so much success in the NFL, having to make those quick decisions, decisive decisions, and of course he was in the perfect offense with the Rams.
No question about that, Teddy. I'm anxious to see Chris Wiggins and his crew really bearing down on that iPad down there, but I think this is going to be a touchdown.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think they're just looking to see if he possibly touched the turf before he let that go, but I don't think he did. And a nice job by the officials to let that play run out. A lot of times you would just assume he was down because he was headed that way and blow the whistle. But
And you know what? You can't blame Jihad Vircher for making that play. You say, oh, that's a bad decision. You know what? It's 4th down. You're already trailing big in the ball game. You're just trying to make something happen. You wouldn't want to see him do that in a tight ball game in the 2nd or 3rd quarter. But right now, this game has definitely gotten away from the strike force. So Vircher just trying to make a play that was near impossible.
all right, here comes Chris Wiggins with the verdict.
After review, the quarterback was down prior to the ball coming out. The result of the play is a sack. It will be turned over on downs to Arizona, 1st down and 10. The unsportsmanlike conduct of number 90 will be enforced half the distance to the goal, 1st down, Arizona.
I'm surprised they overturned that, to be honest with you. I really am.
Yeah, I am too. So now the strike force with a chance to play some defense. And with the penalty against the Rattlers at the end of that non-touchdown, they're going to start deep in their own territory. Caleb Hallbrook, the 6'3", 230-pound backup quarterback for the Rattlers.
I would be surprised if Arizona puts the ball in the air on this drive. Just run the football, secure the football, and get out of here with a win.
Keep everybody healthy.
If they do throw it, it's just because they want to get Hallbrook a few opportunities to throw the football. He's been seldom used this year.
He's going to throw here on 1st down. And it is incomplete. That was intended for somebody not on my roster. So 2nd down. Ball is at the 8-yard line, their own, with 2.5 minutes to go. San Diego had a 14-7 lead at one point in this game with 10:40 left in the 1st half. It's been all Arizona since. Hallbrook hit as he throws, and a nice catch by Harrington. Good throw, too, by Hallbrook.
Hallbrook throws the ball pretty well.
He's got a big old flak jacket on.
Yeah, his 1st season with Arizona, as you mentioned earlier, out of Oklahoma's Panhandle State.
That gets the ball all the way down to the 19 of San Diego, now under 2 minutes to go. Hallbrook throws over the middle again and a catch. That's Harrington.
Hey, Teddy, you mentioned that Hallbrook is wearing a flak jacket. Let me ask you, if you were a quarterback, would you wear a flak jacket?
Yeah, you're darn right I would.
I would too.
Absolutely.
Why not?
Whatever kind of pad I could have on, it would be on.
Yeah, we're going to get the 1-minute warning here in about 10 seconds. See if they can get this play off.
I would imagine they're not going to.
They're going to let it run down. They're going to let it run down. There it is.
And there's the 1-minute warning.
This is the 1-minute warning. 1-minute warning.
46-14. Well, the strike force can certainly look back at that 1st half at some positive things that they did tonight, some things that they can build off of. The 2nd half, they might want to burn the film. There was a lot of things that did not go right for them, and some of them were of their own doing.
I would agree with you, Teddy. I do agree the 1st half they did a lot of really good things. But, you know, I think the maturity of Arizona, of knowing their system, really played a big part in the 2nd half. I mean, they've been there, done that. This organization is used to winning football games. and the strike force still trying to figure some things out right now. I got to tell you, Bert Grossman, when he took this job, this was an uphill battle. I mean, there were a lot of things that were not in place. They ended up firing the general manager. They brought in a new general manager who's doing a marvelous job. And it's going to take time to build it on the field as well as out in the San Diego community. But I got to tell you, for you fans that are watching, if you're thinking about coming out, come on out. It's a fun time with the family. The kids absolutely love it. And, tonight they had a lot of people down on the field playing a little football at halftime. Last week when we were out here, they had a bunch of the kids out there working with the San Diego Surge women's football team, throwing passes, catching passes. A lot of fun. Great atmosphere out here at the Pechanga Arena.
Yeah, I agree. It is a lot of fun, and you might get a football if you come out. Those get to stay out there as souvenirs. Here we go, final minute of play. Arizona going to improve their record to 7-0, the only remaining undefeated team in the Indoor Football League now. Hallbrook looking to get a touchdown pass, and he does. Throws the touchdown to Harrington, and that'll make it 52-14 in favor of Arizona.
Hallbrook, nice job. Once again, a quarterback that has time, it can be very effective, and he just sat there. Nobody
Please reset
really
the game clock to 55 seconds.
And delivered a nice ball for a touchdown.
6th touchdown of the year for Harrington. Boy, he had a big game tonight, Harrington did.
He's a good-looking football player. Really plays with an edge, as I was mentioning earlier. Runs really good routes.
Camacho has his kick blocked. That's Fulham again with the block. So 52-14, 49 seconds to go. Vercher will get one more shot to lead the offense.
Reset the game clock to 55 seconds.
Heck, you know what? You still got to try and get some points on the board here.
Absolutely. That's an area Kevin Guy can't be real happy with tonight, is his kicking game. They've had some problems blocking up front.
Boy, Terrence Fulham, you see him limping around out there on the field right now. He's not 100% healthy after that tackle where he got rolled up on.
Yeah, but he's not coming off the field.
Now these guys, and then you were talking earlier too about Mikel Mayer. He missed most of the first half. He was back out there.
This has been a very, very physical football game tonight, really from the outset.
Yeah, and Arizona really imposed their will in that second half, though. Genesee taking over the running duties the majority of the time in the third quarter. Here's Camacho. And he hit the scoreboard with the kick.
Because the kickoff touched the scoreboard, by rule will be placed at the 20-yard line. First down, San Diego.
So that gives the strike force good field position to try and get some points on the board here in the final minute.
And give Chris Wiggins and his crew tonight, the lead official, his crew doing a nice job. I don't think officiating indoor football is real easy. I think it's rather difficult with a lot of the rules, and a lot of these officials are used to doing 11-man, and you got to make sure that the offensive and defensive line are lining up correctly, namely the defensive line, that everybody's head up on one another.
Not to mention the motion before every snap. Vercher throws to the left side, and it is caught by Marrera. Marrera's had a tough night tonight. They've pretty much kept him in check.
Be interested to see how the strike force attacked this. They do have one timeout left. It'd be great for them and for their confidence. They could go down and stick one in the end zone because they've been shut out so far in the second half.
Vercher throws to the left side, incomplete. That was Troy Evans Jr. on the coverage. I thought San Diego was going to get called for a hold on the right side, but apparently it was a clean block. Both the right tackle and the left end tumbled to the ground.
With 21 seconds to go in a 52-14 game, you better take them down for 2 points to call a hold.
Third down from the 24. Vercher throws over the middle, and it's caught by Rogers down at the 7.
Now right here, you may want to take your time out, but with the first down under a minute, they're going to run the chain gang up there 15 seconds to go. Take a couple shots at the end zone, see if you can score here.
Now they wind the clock. Vercher has the offense set. Throws to the right side, incomplete, intended for Stafford.
5 seconds left. Take another shot.
It'd be great if they could get on the board right before the game ends. Throws over the middle and intercepted. That is going to be the final play of the game.
There's a face mask, unnecessary face mask, ripped the ball player's helmet off.
Yeah, David Carter clearly frustrated, but that's not the way to take it out.
Yeah, you can hurt somebody seriously, and that there was a lot of intent on that, it looked like.
Yeah, I think
A
so.
lot of frustration more than anything else.
Well, Vercher had a tough time with the interceptions in the second half. That was certainly part of the story of this one.
Now that was a real face mask.
Personal foul, face mask, number 6 of the offense. That penalty's declined. The game is over.
52-14 is the final score in this one. Coach, really the story in the first half was the Strike Force playing some ball control. They actually get the lead with 10.5 minutes to go before halftime. But then after that, it was all Arizona.
Well, Strike Force did a lot of good things in the first half, Ted. No question about it. They let the game kind of slip away a little bit at the end of the first half when they allowed a second opportunity for that field goal, and Camacho was able to put it through the uprights for a 10-point lead. And then with Arizona getting the second half kickoff, they went down and scored. And then right after that, there was a safety. And, you know, things just really unraveled after that.
So the final score, once again, 52-14. Arizona stays undefeated. They improve to 7-0. San Diego falls to 1-7. Their next game, May 4th, will be on the road at Tucson. Coach, it has been a real pleasure calling the game with you tonight, and
Always
a
fun,
great job
Teddy.
by the rest of our crew as well. For all of them, I'm Ted Mendenhall. For Coach John Quintera, thanks for joining us. This has been San Diego Strike Force Football.